Let's orientate ourselves to the heart. I can see that one of the ventricles occupies the pointed aspect of the heart, or its apex, and one doesn't. So the ventricle which occupies the apex is the left ventricle. Also, even though this heart has already been cut by a meat inspector, I can feel that this ventricle is thinner than this one. So the thin-walled ventricle is the right ventricle, and the thick-walled ventricle, which occupies the apex, is the left ventricle. There are also some prominent coronary vessels on the surface of the heart, which help to orientate it. At the base of the heart, I can see the left atrium and the right atrium and its little auricular appendage. The large vessels have been cut on the top, and the vessel which can be seen leaving the top of the right ventricle is the pulmonary artery, and the aortic trunk runs behind the pulmonary artery. So my finger is in the aorta, my thumb is lying in the position of the pulmonary artery. Let's use the bread slice method to open this heart, even though it's already been cut by the meat inspector. So I'm going to make transverse slices, starting about a third of the way from the base, maybe a little bit less than a centimetre apart, trying to use the length of the knife to ensure a clean cut. With the bread slice method, you can see multiple parallel cuts have been made through the wall of the heart, not quite full thickness, so that the heart is able to be moved in a hinge-like manner and holds together in one piece. With this method, you can really see the difference in thickness of the left ventricular wall from the much thinner right ventricular wall. The left wall here looks to be maybe 15 millimeters thick in places, and the right ventricular wall perhaps only 7 or 8. You can see the cuts have been made low enough so as not to destroy the valves too much. What we're going to do is continue the cuts up into the pulmonary artery. I'll remove the clots out of the way, and also up into the atrium. So first I'm going to extend a cut up into the pulmonary artery. Have nicely exposed the 3 cusps of the semilunar valve of the pulmonary artery. Here we can see the valves, the valve leaflets of the atrioventricular valve. And again, a cut can be continued up in to open the atrium. Here we see the atrium has been opened, and we can examine the delicate valves from this side. Having looked at the valves of the right side of the heart, we can now move to look at the valves of the left side of the heart. Looking at the cut surface of the left ventricle, it's possible to find the aorta. I put my finger into the aorta, and it lies behind the pulmonary artery. So if I insert the knife or scissors in the same direction, we have now exposed the 3 leaflets of the aortic valve. 1, 2, and 3. You can also see a coronary artery coming off from this aortic valve. Additionally, you can see the atrioventricular orifice, which goes up into the atrium, And again, this can be examined by inserting a knife into the atrium so that the atrioventricular valve can be opened and its leaflets examined. So we've opened the left atrium to show the valves of the left atrioventricular valve, and we've also opened the aorta. It might be possible to reconstruct the heart. It's going to be a bit of a challenge. So to recapitulate, we made multiple transverse slices from a third of the way up, leaving them a little bit hinged. Then on the cut surfaces, we're able to cut up into the pulmonary artery and cut up into the atrium. Similarly, from the left side of the heart, we're able to extend up into the aorta and into the left atrium.